You've talked about the Screwjob so many times, so we're not going to go for it for the 100 millionth time now. But like when you look back now on that Hart Foundation run in 1997 with the five of you, does that rank as the greatest portion of your career, do you think? Because a lot of people that say 1997 is the greatest year in WWF, and a lot because of the Hart Foundation.
Well, I think I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I don't take the when I say I'm the best there is, best there was, best there will be. Without being arrogant, I believed it then and I believe it now, and I think when I got signed to that contract and when Triple H and Shawn basically f***ed me over because I was making more money than them. That's all it was, is people who were jealous and just pure straight backstabbing and bad intent. They were people, and I hope things happen to them. But I came back, I wanted so hard to deliver. And I wanted to give Vince, like they're paying me, I'm the highest paid guy in the company, and I got this huge contract, and which wasn't that huge. They paid more than Mike Tyson for 5 minutes of refereeing on the floor with Steve Austin. They paid him so much more than they ever paid me for all the years I worked for them. You know, like I was the highest paid wrestler in the company at that time, and I worked 15 years to get there. Probably never near made the money that Warrior and Hogan and some of these other guys made, but I wanted to give Vince the best matches of my career. If you look at from the time I signed, I brought Survivor Series, which I think was a great match with Steve Austin. I wrestled Sid, where I lost the title to him. Did I wrestle somebody in a paper in your house? I'm not sure it was Shawn.
The four-way with you and Vader and Austin and Undertaker.
That one was a great match. I mean, people loved that match. The WrestleMania 13 was a 5-star, maybe the greatest match of my career. The In Your House pay-per-view with Stampede Week, great pay-per-view. I fought Patriot somewhere, which wasn't maybe the greatest match of all time, but if you understood how injured and badly, I loved the Patriot, the guy that was the wrestler. I can't remember his name at the top of my head. Yeah, he was a really good guy that made all his money and made his career in Japan wrestling. He was a retired football player, but by the time he got to me, he was like, everything hurt. He was barely taped together. And I remember he was so fragile. Like if he gave you a clothesline, his arm would fall off. And I remember it was really, I remember saying, no, we'll take it really easy. I look at those matches, the one with the Patriot, I think I wrestled him on Monday Night Raw and I wrestled him on a pay-per-view in your house. They're great matches. And no animals were harmed in any of those movies. Even the matches with Patriot, if you understood how limited he was as a wrestler with his injuries and the fact that he had a mask which had no expression, like you couldn't tell if he was, like when you were beating on him, he didn't look like he was in pain or anything. So being in a mask, you don't get the reactions. But I still think the matches we had were great. And then I had the SummerSlam match with Undertaker, which I thought was one of the best of my career. And then we go to Survivor Series and the Screwjob. And even that was as good a match. It was going to be as good a match as that Shawn and me had at the Iron Man match. You know, the truth is about the Screwjob, not that I won't go into all that because we all know enough about it, but the match that me and Shawn worked out, we had 15 minutes fighting on the floor. And then once we got in the ring, the bell started, and then we had like a 35-minute match, epic match planned out. It was going to be such a great match. And we had so much tension. It was building so beautiful. When Earl Hebner screwed us and they did that whole screw job thing, it kind of broke my heart that they all over we had a great movie planned for everybody. It was a great match. And I totally worked with Shawn in that match. I was totally professional with him. And, you know, it was just, when I look at what happened, and that was all Triple H, I think that was the driving force of the screw job. But it was so unnecessary. It was not the way to go. It was not the way to treat a guy that worked 14 years for WWE and give the best matches of his career. And who was Triple H to do that to me and my career and my family? And you know, I've always known that they were totally wrong. And it's a shame that what was lost on that. Like, I think if you look at the matches that would have come out of Bret Hart for the next 2 or 3 years or 4 years after that would have been the best of my career. And that's too bad.